Hello and good morning, good afternoon, or good day, depending on where in the world you are connecting to us from. Thank you so much for your time today. Today is Social Saturday. It's a free networking opportunity for leaders in grassroots movements, sustainable organizations, and higher education. Today, we are focusing on the Middle East and Northern Africa region and the UN Sustainable Development Goals that we all fall and work towards. Today, we are going to be having a conversation with Dr. Khalid Kadir, a lecturer at UC Berkeley, and assorted members of the Arab Youth Climate Movement. If you are a viewer, you will see an opportunity for questions and answers in a question and answer box. There is also an opportunity to chat directly with other viewers and the panelists. You'll see the Social Saturday icon in the middle of your screen, and you will find the chat and Q&A icons on the, I believe, upper left-hand side. Click on them once and you'll see the boxes appear. And I guess with no further ado, as I do see our panelists have all joined successfully, and I thank you very much to our viewers, I'm going to begin with myself. My name is Tamala. I am a professional climate communicator. I discovered with working with colleagues all over the world in climate education and sustainable development that we shared a lot more than the differences that people kept telling me we had. We shared the same goals defined by the Sustainable Development Division of the United Nations. There are 17 of these goals. Today, each of us has chosen 5 that we're particularly interested in. The 5 that I'm most interested in have been to eradicate poverty, to give quality education to everyone, gender equality across the globe, clean water access, and peace and justice. While looking at these goals, I decided that I could best highlight some of my fabulous colleagues that I've worked with over the years, and as a result, we have created today's meeting. Today's meeting will be recorded in audio, and so you are warned of that, but you can ask all questions silently, either in the question and answer box or in the chat section of the software. If you're having any problems connecting or hearing, you can chat with me. My name is Tamala Fish, and I will try and help you in the background. I appreciate your participation today, and with no further ado, I would like to begin our presentation. We're going to begin today with Dr. Khalid Kadir, who is a lecturer on both poverty issues and in the College of Engineering. Thank you. Hello.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Thank you for having me. Here we go. I will go ahead. I think the videos are all off. Is that right, Tamala?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's no video today in today's presentation of the participants, just our presentation.
Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to start by saying thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here to sort of put a voice of support first and foremost, and to just sort of be in a space with all of you who are doing something really, trying to do things that are really exciting and really important. I can't deny that there's a slight degree of how to put it, maybe awkwardness, because I feel like when we sit here and we think about climate change, I'm on the side of the planet that's causing the problem, and you all are mostly located in places that are most affected by the problem. So, you know, there's that gap between those who are culpable and those who are most vulnerable to climate change. And here I am on the side of that is not the comfortable side to be on, at least not morally or ethically. So I speak to you from California, a place where we are responsible for quite a bit of climate emissions. But I hope that that we are able to sort of come up with some ideas on how to do interesting things around climate change. So a little bit about my background. I teach at UC Berkeley, as Tamala mentioned. I teach a mix of things. My background, my training is in environmental engineering, studied water and wastewater. I while I was doing my dissertation work, I spent some time living in Damascus in 2003. لكي أدرس العربي. So we can speak a little in Fusha later if you like. Then in 2007, I lived in Morocco while I was doing a Fulbright in Rabat, and I was studying a natural wastewater treatment system. So a lot of my work was thinking about ecological engineering and the ways in which natural treatment systems can be used to clean dirty water, how that might be reused in different ways. I was working together with a professor there in the university on some systems that he has built at the university. So that's a little bit about what I studied on the technical side. In the process of doing that, my entry into engineering was where I didn't really want to deal with politics. I mostly just wanted to do some technical thing that would have a positive impact. But along the way, I slowly kept running into the fact that there was no getting around the fact that some people have more power than others in any situation. And there was no way of really getting around the politics of the work I do. So I started studying the ways in which people who are trained as engineers hide politics, not in some sort of conspiratorial way, but in some routine way. When we think about I look here at the different SDGs that are listed at the top of the slide. When we think about no poverty, clean water and sanitation, infrastructure, inequality, sustainable cities, each of these has approach that the UN takes that is very sort of technocratic and says, oh, no poverty, let's make sure people have money and houses and these sorts of things. But there's no question of why is it that some people have a lot more than others? Why is it that that some people are rich while others are poor? And how are these related to one another? Poverty and wealth exist at the same time. But wealth exists on the back of poverty. Some people have an abundance of clean water and sanitary facilities, and that's directly related to other people not having those people who serve as cheap labor, those people who work in their homes or build their homes or clean their offices and that sort of thing. So I tend now to think a lot about how we might make visible this relationality, the ways in which poverty and wealth are related to one another, the ways in which sickness and health are related to one another, and to think about the unequal distribution of resources and the unequal distribution of decision-making and power and these sorts of things. So that's most of what I do, sort of in an academic sense. I spend a lot of time teaching, talking with undergraduate students about these issues, many of whom have a lot of passion, but they come from very privileged places, and I think that a lot of the work they need to do involves undermining their own privilege. So I work with a lot of students around that issue of how might those of us who are in relatively better off positions work in solidarity with others. And that's kind of what brings me here today, is to be in solidarity with all of you who come from different places, particularly those of you coming here from Palestine. Marhaba bikum. You all have it difficult, and those of you from Syria, as we all know, that the Arab and Middle East, North Africa has a lot of particularly pressing climate-related difficulties right now, and I think it's only appropriate that that we are all organized together around that, because we have a strong moral stand to take, that whatever's going to happen around climate change really needs to think about what's happening in the Arab world and how Arabs are being affected by that. So props to all of you for being here. Thank you for having me. I don't want to babble on, because I'm mostly here to listen to you and hear who you are and find out what sorts of things, someone like myself, how I might be able to be useful to what you're trying to do. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kadir. Our next panelist is a representative of the Arab Youth Climate Movement, and he is going to provide us with a regional overview of the organization. I would now like to present Mr. Abdallah Driat. Mr. Abdallah Driat is an environmental activist, and he has represented the Arab Youth Climate Movement Jordan region at COP19 in Poland, and he's interested in connecting with organizations who will be attending COP22. So if you do know of any organizations attending COP22 who may be interested in joining forces with the Arab Youth Climate Movement, please do connect with him. For those who do not know, COP stands for Conference of the Parties. The next one is the Conference of the Parties 22nd meeting. It is a gathering of nations within the United Nations to address the Sustainable Development Goals for all. Thank you very much, Mr. Driat.
To introduce myself, my name is Abdullah Driat. I am environmental activist since 2012, and at that year I joined the AYCM Jordan as a member, and I did a lot of seminars and workshops related to the climate change issues. And now, or recently, I've been elected as a AYCM regional coordinator for LIVET countries. So I know this is the huge responsibility on me, because our region, or the countries in our region have a lot of conflict and a lot of bad situation on the political issues. So yes, I'm moving to the presentation. I'm going to give you overview about the Arab Youth Climate Movement in general. Arab Youth Climate Movement is an independent body that works to create generation-wide movement to assist and support the establishment of legally binding agreements to deal with the climate change issues. AYCM is launched in 2012. Next slide, please, Panelist. Now, as a AYCM structure, we are 16 countries across of the Arab League, and each we separated as national chapters among these countries. Each chapter has a national coordinator. He is responsible to do the climate action in his or in her country. This slide, it's about our demands for the Arab delegates, which was in the COP21. So I think you have the Arabic title and the English one. The next slide. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I only had the 2 slides for you.
Okay. I thought that I sent you the my presentation that I prepared with my colleagues. Okay, so I will talk about a little bit about the movement now. So yeah, now we are focusing on the three components for the climate change. First one is to recruit new climate activists that focusing on the climate change and to raise their awareness and to assist all the stakeholders in the countries to pay attention about the climate change and to find a sustainable solution in the climate change. And the second one is that we're focusing to find or to support the delegation of the Arab League. For example, here in Jordan, our national coordinator is one of the official Jordanian delegation, the COPs, and also our colleagues in Lebanon, Ms. Nuhad. So yeah, we just were focusing to support the climate change policy. And the third one, we will work on the research issue. We want to focusing to highlight and make or conduct a lot of scientific research on the climate change, and that will support our government to take action. So yeah, this is and that's it for AYCM region. Yeah. Is there any question? Hello?
I do not see any questions at this time. We'll give people a chance to absorb it, and they may have some more. Oh, here is one question in the chat. How do we reach more people about your organization?
Yeah, we do that by our national coordinators. They do like social media application, and sometimes some of our chapters they make seminars or workshop, and through that they will or they recruit new activists to join this movement.
Great, thank you so much. I also have a question about to link to download the presentation, and yes, we will make the presentation available in the Facebook group later. You can also email Tamala Talks if you do not have access to Facebook for some reason, and I can email it to you. So yes, we will make the presentation available to attendants after the conversation, and we will have an audio file. Thank you very much for your presentation, Abdallah. And I do believe he has a contact of, isn't your email region?
Yeah. I will write it in on the chat.
Great.
So anyone want to ask me, please feel free to contact me and to ask me any question. Yeah. Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you very much. Okay, so now we will move on to our next speaker. Ms. Nohad Awad, I'm sorry, I did practice the name right before coming online and I just got it wrong, my apologies. Ms. Nohad Awad is, yes, thank you so much. She was helping me and I had it correct right before, but as you have it, this is a live webinar and there I got it wrong. But she is the very courageous and wonderful Arab Youth Climate Movement National Coordinator in Lebanon. She holds a bachelor's in environmental health and it holds a master's in environmental sciences. AYCM Lebanon is a very active chapter, and I thank you for attending us and telling us more today.
Hello, everybody. Thanks, Tamila, for the introduction, and thanks, Abdallah, for the brief. Like you made my mission easier, and I would like to thank Dr. Khalid for being with us this day. And also, like I'm like now I'm going somehow more. Out of the presentation to thanks Dr. Khalid for sharing his experience. I had a bachelor degree in environmental health, then a master's in environmental sciences, but I did a concentration in environmental policy planning. Now, like I was thinking about my PhD, would I do it in international relations because I attended COP21 as part of the Lebanese government, or would I continue on doing a PhD in renewable energy and natural resources? But sharing your experience, like you are helping me to make my mind and go to international relations rather than continuing in the science arena. Now I'm going to speak about AYCM Lebanon. Our activities started in August 2015. It's this photo is for an activity that we did it last week. It was it was a celebration by planting 300 trees in Al-Mishrfe. It's an area in Mount Lebanon. It was like a common activity on the International Forest Day and on the International Water Day. In AYCM Lebanon, we focus on gender, policy, policy planning, water integrity, transportation, and the relation between religion and climate change. One of our activities, as I said, tree planting. We do workshop, policy debate, and we take part in international campaigns as Action 15 and Earth Hour. The last one was Earth Hour, where we made an online campaign for turning off lights between 8:30 and 9:30, and also we did a film screening of the film Dima. Okay, the 5 main sustainable development goals that we concentrate on them are clean water, affordable and clean energy, life on land, climate action, and gender and equality. And each one we concentrate on it for a reason. So gender equality, we could, because not only because I'm a woman, because we believe in empowering women and promoting gender equality, especially that after environmental hazards like cyclones or earthquakes, tsunamis, flooding, the most victims that are affected from violence after hazards are women. So they are very much related to climate change, which is our main goal, to raise awareness on climate change and to have an international agreement as AYCM. Second, since women are mostly affected, since a lot, like between statistics, between 30 to 40% work on agriculture. I don't recall the number, which also affected by climate change, since food production has a relation. So this is one of our concerns. For that, we made, and when we took part in Action 15 last year, we made 2 workshops with a women association. One in Dar al-Ahmar, which is the Women Association of Dar al-Ahmar. We made a workshop about sorting solid waste, and the other one we did it with the Women Association of Arab Salim. Second thing we believe in is the clean water and sanitation. Second goal we concentrate on is clean water and sanitation. Since in the Arab world we have water scarcity, and in Lebanon we started having water deficiency in these 2 years compared to previous years. And in the world, around the world in general, there is 40% of the people affected by water scarcity, which is an alarming for us. And climate change and raising global temperatures is a consequence of climate change. So this is related. I have a special concern as AYCM in water integrity. This term, although it's related to policy and related to climate change, but it is not well known. We did in AYCM an online Survey Monkey, an online questionnaire we ask educated people, we ask university students, and nobody was able to define water integrity. And many people raised the questions, and there is people that gave examples about water case studies, corruption in water case studies. For that, we have, after this questionnaire, we plan to do a session in university, at the CNAM University in Beirut, about water integrity. The third one I'm going to talk about is affordable and clean energy, which is, as AYCM, we believe in having 100% renewable energy. This is our goal, but Lebanon has pledged to have 30% of its energy renewable, but this is conditional. So it's pledged to have 15% unconditional renewable energy. We plan to work on this by raising awareness. Lately, there is people started using solar panels to generate electricity on household levels. I did a research on this for a course in my master's study, and I found that the CDM project under Kyoto Protocol that was implemented by the French government failed because people didn't get the CFL lamps, but they 2 houses from the areas that supposed to get them, but they bought them. So there was like a corruption in this. So this is one of our main concerns as AYCM Lebanon, is to raise awareness about using clean energy and to follow up on issues related to this point. The first point I'm going to talk about it is climate action. I'm not going to talk about it like Abdullah talked about it, and in order not to repeat things, this is our regional and our national aim and goal, and everything we concentrate on it is related to it. So I'm gonna step to life on land. In Lebanon, we have fires. We have lost a lot of forest our forest, much of our forest. We still have 11% of our forests. We have a problem of soil erosion. This we are trying to solve it by workshops and in villages and with farmers about the importance of trees and about the importance of biodiversity. And we are also one of the activities that we did lately, which is planting 300 trees in the mountains of Lebanon. one of our we have a lot of ideas. We wish we have the capacity to implement them. We have a lot of goals, but one of the main concern that not only faces AYCM, that faces NGOs in our world or in the Arab world, is that they don't have the enough fund to implement what they have, and they don't have the enough capacity building to go further and implement their projects. As we see, these two photos on the screen. On the one on the left is the one with we did it with the women of Association of Women of, sorry, I forget now. Now I said it. Association of the Women of the Deir al-Ahmar, and the other one it was with the Association of the Women of Arab Sanim. Although, as you see, there is men, but these are the municipality, and it was open to all the villagers. But that one, only women attended. I would like to thank you, and I'm sorry if I took a lot of time or exceeded the limit. I'm happy to be here, and hopefully this webinar will end up in more cooperation and will end up in more participation. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You took the exact perfect amount of time. Thank you for your presentation. And I just wanted to follow up. In the beginning, you mentioned the gender equality and that women are more affected by climate change. We do know this, and the United Nations has made a point of trying to make sure everyone else knows this. The statistic I am familiar with is 40% of women farm the food, gather the water, and do the basic living circumstances over the entire globe. That figure rises to 70%. 70% of farming, water gathering, and basic life necessities are gathered by women in impoverished areas or in rural areas. And therefore, when climate change hits, those are the first to be affected. So it is 40%, I believe, is the global statistic, and up to 70% in rural and impoverished areas. Thank you very much. And now we will go on to our next speaker. Our next speaker is calling in from Syria. I always find technology amazing, and thank you so much for calling in from so far away. She is Ms. Lama Ranjus. Ms. Lama Ranjus is a Syrian activist and an environmentalist in the climate change issue. She is the national coordinator of AYCM Syria and interested in connecting with climate change organizations working within MENA's conflict zone. I do not need to tell her, but I will inform the rest of the audience. As a climate change advocate, it is always difficult to find funding money and NGOs to work with. If you are a climate advocate in a conflict zone, it is really, really difficult to find funding and NGOs to work with. So if you have any suggestions, please do forward them to me or to the speakers after our conversation. Thank you, and I now hand the floor over to Ms. Ranjus.
Okay, thank you, Tamilia, for your introduction, and good evening, everyone. I would thank Tamilia for your effort and for the speakers, of course. I will, first of all, I will introduce myself to you. My name is Lama. You know, I've studied political science, and I'm ongoing Master of Political Studies. Before that, before I continue, I want to apologize for everyone for the background music or the sounds, because I'm sitting in a restaurant to make sure that the internet will not cut off. Actually, my interest in environment and climate change issues start from 2010. I was working with one of the local NGOs called Masar as a member of a green team, which aimed to raise awareness in environmental and climate change issues between the children, the Syrian children. But the program has been stopped after the war started in 2011. So I moved actually to humanitarian NGOs, but I joined the AYCM in 2013 to continue my interest in climate change. In 2013, we didn't have the ability to start our activities actually, but we take a part in COP 19 in Warsaw. I was one of the participants, and this was my first participant in the COPs actually. After that, we start building the AYCM team here in Syria. Our activities start in 2014. Our work actually, all of our activities are online because of the situation here. We target the youth and the children. We try to keep their interest in climate change issue, and try to keep them not forget these issues after the conflict start, because everyone here are trying to survive actually and forget about the environment and climate change issues. Through our online campaign and participating in each international event, our aim actually to say that even if there's a war here, we are still have the right to participate and raise our voice for this international issue. Our last event was it was on campaign. We invite in Syria to cut off the electricity for 1 hour, and send us their photo to share it in the media. Even if we know that the electricity here turn off more than 16 hours, but we encourage people to turn off this hour by their choice, and send us this photo. The reaction of the audience was very amazing actually, because a lot of people, especially children, send us their photo with the hashtag with Earth Hour from Syria. We are now planning to do the offline activities with children in cooperation with the local NGOs. We still not there yet here in Syria, but we are trying to do so because working without registration is very difficult here. As I told you, because of the conflict situation, it's very hard for us to run our activities, and actually the resource is very limited. We try to find the resource, but actually because of the restrictions in the political and economic restrictions, we still cannot find any one to give us the required support. So now we are focusing on the capacity building for our team, and participate in the online campaign. So anyone who is interested to provide us the support in any way, it's very good to share this with us. And finally, I want to thank you for giving me this chance to talk about our movement here and our work. And if you have any question, I will send you the email, my email to contact me. Thank you very much. And sorry for the background music again. Okay. Thank you.
Lama, thank you very much for your presentation. You never need to be sorry about the background noise, and I am happy to remind our viewers that a few of our participants on the panel today deal with less than 16 hours of blackness. So they have, less than 8 hours of electricity, sometimes only 2 or 3 hours of electricity in which to get all their work done. I also found as a professional climate communicator that when we do have electricity and everything's open, when I'm trying to communicate with people in conflict regions, because everyone is trying to use the internet at the same time, we frequently suffer bandwidth issues when they do get through. So I just want to point out that I think you are very courageous and efficient. And there is a lot that people in the United States could certainly learn about getting work done with very limited electricity and working off very little restricted resources. It is always heartening for me to hear that people who have to deal with so much conflict on a daily basis are still very much engaged in educating on the climate and the issues that connect us and staying positive in their area. And that leads us to our next and final AYCM speaker, who is Mr. Ahmad Safi, who I have worked with in the past, and he is calling us today from Gaza, Palestine. Ahmad, I'm unmuting you now.
Okay, hi everyone, how are you? And I hope that all of you have a nice time during this session and webinar. Let me to thank you, Tamila, and all of you to arrange this meeting, which bring amazing people like all of you together here to share knowledge, ideas, and get more cooperation in the future. I am Ahmad Safi from Gaza, 26-year-old. I am working as now I am project coordinator at Natuf Organization for Environment and Community Development. Also, I am the national coordinator of Palestinian Chapter at the Arab Youth Climate Movement, AYCM, which created in October 2012 after the first COP in the Arab countries in Doha, Qatar. I'll talk about 3 points, I think. The first is about the Palestinian situation and climate change. And then I'll talk something about our works here in Palestine with AYCM and Natuf.
Ahmad, this is Tamla. I'm sorry we didn't practice this earlier, but just tell me when you want me to stop sharing this presentation and move to your other presentation.
Okay, first I need to talk something about Palestine situation. Then you can work with the presentation slides. Okay, about Palestinian efforts and work on climate change. As you know, Palestine as part of the Eastern Mediterranean these changes in something like annual rainfall, mean temperature, extreme weather events, and sea level rise, as mentioned in the 4th assessment report by IPCC. Here in Palestine, the Palestinian National Authority, represented by the ECA, Environment Quality Authority, to developing the National Climate Change Adaptation Strategy with support from UNDP. I'll send you the link for this which is a PDF file, talk about the Palestinian strategy. Palestine tried to involve all stakeholders, local stakeholders from NGOs, CBO, local communities, preparation a national strategy, which aims to highlight the impacts of climate change in different sectors to develop the national action plan for adaptation. The last news about Palestine situation, which is now considered as full membership for UNFCC in this March. She used to be as observer at the recent COP in Paris when Palestinian President Abu Mazen submitted the request to become a full membership in the UNFCC. And now Palestine will prepare the first communication about climate change, which will be ready, I think, in the coming June. So they will be ready to present and work for the coming COP in Morocco. This is the general situation about the Palestinian government plans. And about the obstacles or something that affected badly in this trends. The first, as you know, as Palestine is a conflict zone with Israeli occupation and policies aims to destroy the Palestinian government, even in Gaza and West Bank. And there is a low fund availability to implement projects in the climate change field. And even all of this, the Palestinian people here are trying to do their best to support the national and regional environment, universal trends toward climate change. Here in Gaza, as the AYCM which hosted by Natuf organization, together we're trying to do many projects, events, campaigns in climate change, with focusing on capacity building for different categories of the society, like women, youth, and children, trying to raise the awareness of all of these categories to be part of the movement toward save our environment and community. If I want to talk about the first slide of Palestine here, as you see in the panel.
I'm sorry, Ahmad, 1 minute, please. Did you want me to switch to your PowerPoint presentation at this time?
Yeah, okay.
Okay? Okay, 1 second, please. Let me pull that up. Oh, sorry, wrong one. 1 second. Sorry.
Okay, while you prepare the file, I'll talk about the initiation of AYCM Palestine from October 2012. We have a momentum of understanding with the Natuf organization. So as a Palestinian team, we are hosted by Natuf organization. Okay, if you can watch the slides view, which talk about Palestine and our concepts. I think Abdullah and Nuhad talk something about this. Which is that our team vision through local and international cooperation, and our main objectives to create a Palestinian youth climate change leaders, organizing and carrying many environmental events, projects, and try to activate all environmental issues with local society, and try to support the Palestinian friends and international support for our president and government to be part of the world organization. We work in order to raise the awareness of the local people here, to make them act as environmental leaders and try their best, anything they can do to support and save the environment. Okay, here is a list of our activities from 2012 up to date. The first start, which were the regional day, which with the banner Qatar It's Time to Lead, peace march in Gaza to support the Arab represents in the Cup of Qatar, and then we are working in and implementing the Earth Hour World campaign for the last 4 years. By the way, the recent activity, okay, participating in many projects and trainings in environmental sector. These photos of our first activities in 2003 and now 2004, starting with Earth Hour, awareness campaign for children, and primary event turning of lights, scientific workshop titled with Climate Change, Reality and Challenges. These some photos for the events. And we implement the first national Palestinian workshop in the West Bank, which aims to meet our friends and colleagues in West Bank and meet the representative of Palestinian National Committee on Climate Change, trying to make a connection point between government work in order to support the work in general. In 2015, in partnership organization, which is one of the most important organization in Gaza, working in the environmental sector. We've the leaders for the Sustainable Community Project and Rural Women Workshop, targeting a group of rural women in Gaza and West Bank to raise their awareness about climate change and their role they can do toward climate change. And as usual, Earth Hour campaigns and a series of workshops to raise the awareness, and we implement through this project 4 initiatives. One of them and top roofing, planting, and the awareness campaign to reduce and reuse of waste, plastic waste. This is photos of rural women shops, second shop, Palestinian AYCM, and 2 for shop in West Bank. In 2016, in last March, we implement the Earth Hour World campaign and participate in planting campaign in the Gaza beach on the 21st of March. During this Earth Hour, we preparing a short video and the main event of turn off lights. Okay, this is a brief summary about our work, and if you want to know more about our activities and the plans, you can follow our page. Okay, and the final of this speech, I think like these webinars is a good opportunity to all of us to exchange ideas and try to get more cooperation and partnership between us from Arab countries and other peoples. So together we can play something and do our roles to representatives for our countries, and in general we act as a human to save our life. So many thanks for you, and I am so sorry if I take more than the time for me.
That's not a problem, and thank you so much for your presentation. That concludes our speaker presentations. At this time, we'd like to take some questions from the audience. I do see one question in the chat box. and I will be sure to read it out loud here. Let's see. Let's see, there was a question about the situation of presence of natural gas and oil in the Eastern Mediterranean Sea. Would it be, should we shift to renewable energy? And is it good for the economy? There is a longer part to this question, but I think it's good just to answer the first one. I'm going to open this up to any of the panelists. You live in where fossil fuels are born, basically, in the Middle East, and where we get natural oil from. Is it difficult, do you feel, to switch to renewable energy in the region? Is there anyone who would like to take that question?
Can I answer it?
Please.
You know, in our region, although it is it's known, publicized as the region of oil, but Jordan, Palestine, Egypt, Lebanon, Syria, we buy oil, and even in Jordan they refine oil, but the price is higher. People buy it for higher price for transportation, so it is not cheap as people think. This is one point. Another thing is that our area receives a lot of sunny days. We have a lot of sunny days and it receives a lot of sun. And I read recently, if we use the solar panels, I cannot recall the area, for 2 minutes, just for 2 minutes, this specific area, we can have energy for all the world. Since we are in a sunny area, and since we receive a lot of sun, and also there is some places that we can use the wind for generating energy. It's very feasible and it's very economical. The prince of KSA yesterday said that they started the planning to for the post-oil era. We know that oil will not stay there forever, and we should start thinking how to have clean energy and how to survive from now, to survive the effects of climate change. Is there anything I should answer it also? I hope that I answered the question. I don't.
No, I think that's good.
I didn't read it.
I think I might dovetail on that a little bit, and I want to point out the question. Just I'll read it to you in case. So is about the question, the presence of natural gas and oil in the Eastern Mediterranean, and the point of, yes, we should use renewable energy, but for Lebanon's economy, isn't it a gamble not to utilize these resources at an optimal level? And the way that I think might be useful to there are a number of ways to approach this, but one of them I think is to ask, useful for who, beneficial for whom? By the exploitation of these resources, who's going to benefit and who is going to suffer the costs of that? And I think that the extraction of natural gas and oil is going to be something that's going to be positioned to benefit people who have access to capturing the returns from that, those who are going to make money off of that process. And then think about who in Lebanon is going to be most vulnerable to climate change and who's going to be sort of on the other end of that. So this sort of gamble is one that is structurally set up in a way that benefits some at the cost of others. And the other side of this equation is that as sort of a united front, we think about the idea that climate change is something that's affecting all of us. So how can we make a coordinated sort of effort to not think about our own short-term economic benefit at such sort of great climate cost? So I think that's two of the things that when we think about, are we gonna, we found natural gas, should we use it to help our economy? Well, at what expense? And it not just what expense, but at whose expense? How are we sort of outsourcing or externalizing the cost of that economic growth?
Okay, many NGOs don't have the research place, or you can say the research institute, or don't have the researchers. Lebanon, there is IFI, they have the climate change program who mainly do the research, and there is the climate change program under the UNDP, which is working with the government. So they depend on this. Most probably, as I'm speaking as AYCM, as NGO. We read them, but we always strive and call for 100% renewable energy. Since you know, we think globally. We don't take it. That's what we should do mainly before thinking. We don't tailor it according to each government policy and each government capacity. In Lebanon, the government say it has the capacity only to have 15%. There was a governmental. I talked about it briefly. There was a governmental campaign to have the government subsidized having solar panels in homes to generate electricity. But still, you cannot sell the government electricity. There is a lot of things. Economics play an important role in this. Especially in Lebanon, I'm talking, we have what they say neoliberal economy, but in general, the politicians are pragmatic. The Gulf countries, like in the COP, lately in the previous years, they started saying that they accepted saying that there is climate change. Before, like KSA refused to say that climate change exists. Now they accepted it, and as you see, they were a big bloc in the previous years, and in the last year, thanks to the French diplomacy, or else they wouldn't accept to rise between 1.5 and 2, which is was the middle point between what NGOs called 1.5 and what the GCC countries or Arab countries called, which is 2, and it affects their economy. So you are right in raising this point that should be worked more. Is there any question I can answer?
I would like to add on a broader view of that subject that many climate scientists say that we need to keep at least 80% of the remaining oil in the ground around the world to avoid our 2 degrees Celsius rise. So it is essential that local regions find ways to overcome the gap they're feeling now between the fossil fuel economy and the new renewable energy economy to accomplish that goal. I also just wanted to add, you mentioned that some in the Gulf were not accepting climate change, that I live in the United States, and we have the same issue with some of our government here who has refused to accept and move forward on climate change issues. So it is indeed a global challenge, and it is difficult sometimes for local regions to adapt. However, we have found that when local regions do find a way to move forward into renewable energy, that they tend to be very efficient and successful, as most sustainable solutions happen better from ground up than from top down.
And I also think that, you know, given that perspective, and that's a really good point, Tamila, that in order to prevent this kind of climate change, we need to keep 80% of those non-renewable energy sources in the ground. The way I approach this is it's the responsibility of wealthier nations to then put economic support into places like Lebanon. You know, the US and Europe need to be buying solar panels for Lebanon out of an agreement that, look, you keep this in the ground and we'll help you with your economic development, because we recognize that it's not fair. It's not fair that we've been able to develop by using fossil fuels and now we're telling you not to use it. So instead, we're going to direct some of the benefits we've gained from our development with fossil fuels to sort of not make that a hard decision. We're going to help you do the thing that we all need to happen, and we're going to do that by sharing our resources. So I think that's a real political organizing sort of position that is a way to push on those who are in positions of wealth and power to say, look, you don't want climate change, we don't want climate change, but you need to make sure that this is fair, that you are able to sort of get the benefits of using fossil fuels and then stop the rest of us. So I think that's another sort of politicized way of trying to handle that issue.
Thank you.
Thank you. I thank you for raising the point. This is, as you said, it's highly political, and there was a lot of bargain or negotiation between the North and the South. The developing countries are asking for their share, and the developed countries were trying, like, we had paid a lot in the past years and we should stop paying. So asking for this I don't know if it's feasible. You know, in Lebanon, they discovered oil, but we didn't extract it yet. There is no governmental law to extract it yet. We have like a committee for oil extraction, but things didn't happen for several reasons. I don't think the USA or Europe will be ready to do this. It's a lot of politics. They had a lot of negotiations for giving to least developed countries money, and they tried not to make it obligatory in the last Paris Agreement. So this is a lot of politics, and I don't know if it will happen in Morocco. Thank you for raising this point. Thank you again.
Thank you. If there is nothing else on that question, is there anybody else, another panelist who'd like to speak to that? We do have another question for Ahmad about the Palestinian conflict with Israel, and it's, let's see, let me read it exactly. What is your opinion on the effect of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict on water resources? They're being termed as water wars. What can be done to resolve this issue? And of course, I'm sure we are limiting that questions to what can be done to resolve the water issues, as none of us are able to directly solve the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Ahmad, do you have something to say to that?
Yes, first, thanks for this question. The point that the Israeli policies aims always to control all the resources and all the water access, and especially in the West Bank, and limited the Palestinian share of this water was very, very limited according to the Israel. So in the West Bank, they have a serious problem with the fresh water and drinking water. When we visited the West Bank, most of them buy the water from the supermarkets, and Israel control all of the amount of water, groundwater and running water. They deal like this. The water is the most important thing, so we need to control all of these areas, which create a lot of problems to the Palestinian in drinking water, agriculture, and many uses of water. Palestinian government try always to point and try to get the more share of food. But you know, the Israeli always connect water issues with political issues, with police office, and so fears of discussion and negotiation with the Israelis about this. Until this moment, there is not progress. Israel has reduced the amount of Palestinian share in the groundwater and running water, and that affects badly to the Palestinian situation. I hope that the world and during the global and world organizations like UN and US or something try to push on Israel to give more share with this resources. So it's a complicated area of talking, and takes a lot from to get their share. I hope the coming years have better solutions and get more of our water and our lands from the Israeli occupation. Thanks.
Thank you, Ahmad. We are at the top of our hour, and at this point, I would like to open it up to the audience. If the audience has an announcement that you would like to share out loud, please raise your hand now. You will see a raise hand icon. If I see you raise your hand at this time, I will open up your microphone and you're allowed to make an announcement. I'm just going to sit silently and give everybody an opportunity to find that if you wish. While we're waiting, is there anything in final the speakers would like to say? Nope, it looks like most of our questions here have been answered. I do not see any hands raised, and I really would like to thank everyone for your participation today. Thank you to our panelists who have overcome lack of electricity and more to come to today's call. Before I close this call, I do see one hand raised. So
There's one hand, yeah.
yes, I am going to now call on Abdul Khan. Thank you very much. I am going to promote you to panelist. At that time, you can unmic your microphone and speak. Thank you. Thank you, Abdul. Your microphone is unmuted. Would you like to make an announcement?
Hi, this is Abdul Basit. I have a question, like it'll be an open question to all of you guys. How do you see a common person would be able to help or would be able to contribute in either of these activities? Is there any pointers, guidance, or any idea?
So your question is, if you do not currently belong to an organization like AYCM, what can a single individual do to work within the Sustainable Goals framework or to help with the many campaigns they mentioned? Would any panelists like to speak to that?
I think if someone want to be part of saving our environment, he can start from his first. As we work in capacity building and raising the awareness of other peoples, we depend on this point. If you want to change, you can yourself. You can make yourself, your life, your house again, and thinking about sustainable development goals and starting from your food, from your electricity consumption, water consumption, waste production, and you can try to your plastic and papers from yourself, then from your family, and then from your friends. So you will be as a leader for yourself, and for your family in this trend. So I think if you start from yourself, you will do very amazing things, and the people then will follow you. Thanks.
Thank you, Ahmad. I agree. That's a wonderful answer. Everyone can simply start with yourself and changing your own habits. I also urge anyone who's interested in doing campaigns and volunteering time to look for a local organization as opposed to a big international organization when you are just beginning. It's easier to communicate, make meetings, and you tend to really know and understand the sustainable issues that directly surround your home. Thank you very much for that excellent question. Is there any other questions at this time or any other announcements? Okay, I do not. Oh, yes.
Hello.
Go ahead.
I would like to ask everybody to join our social media. We have a Twitter account, we have a Facebook account. Please like them to keep updated about our activities. Also, we have a LinkedIn account, and we keep posting our work on them. And anybody wishing to join in any country, we are open. And if there is a country that we don't have a chapter, also we are open. We are open to start having a chapter in it. This is our Twitter account. Now I will share with you I will share the social media contacts with you now. Thank you for your time, and thank you Tamila, and thank you Dr. Khalid for giving us this opportunity. Thank you for all the viewers and for the panelists. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We do have one more question from an audience member and someone who also helped facilitate this call, Mr. Sharif Abdul Hadi. I have promoted you to speaker, and I'm unmuting your microphone now. Thank you.
Hello, this is Sharif. I'm one of AYCM Regional Coordinator. I would really thank you all for being here today and for this webinar. Thank you, Tamila, Dr. Khalid, and all of other speakers. I just would like to mention that and remind you that with COP22 this year is going to be happen in Morocco, and as Arab youth and as Arab activists, we need to take a lot of actions and taking the responsibility of, you know, leading all of these processes. So it would be great for all of us to collaborate and supporting the issue itself. So as Nohad mentioned, feel free to contact us anytime. As you know, AYCM is founded in almost 17 Arab countries, so it's very important to collaborate and supporting each other in different initiatives or projects. So yeah, you already have our contacts, and feel free to get back to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharif. And I just want to note that we have put the, Nohad put the contact information in the chat. I will also be putting a PDF of these slides in the Facebook event later. If you do not have access to Facebook, you can email me at tamilatalks@gmail.com, and I will email you the PDF. That is T as in Tom, A, M as in Mary, E-L-A, talks, T-A-L-K-S, all one word, at gmail.com. I greatly appreciate everybody's time today. Thank you very much to our courageous panelists and to everyone who helped facilitate this conversation. Thank you to our viewers for reaching out. I do recommend you take part in these online social media campaigns. That is how I met some of our esteemed guests 3 years ago. I simply took part in a hashtag campaign with them and got to know more, like their Facebook pages, and started doing work together. So it does connect us together. It can happen. Thank you very much, everybody. This does conclude our meeting. Please check back to the Facebook event or email me at tamilatalks@gmail.com for a PDF of this presentation. Thank you and goodbye.